Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Halloween Horror Marathon Day 3. We're going to be discussing the most horrific animal to roam the ocean, the deep depths of which make up most of this planet we inhabit. If you are confused, allow me to explain. This here is a dolphin. Many of you probably confused to why I am talking about the pretty dolphin that cannot do no wrong. Well, simply put, we're going to discuss the predatory behavior of dolphins, the dolphin experiment that happened in the 1960s where scientists experimented way too much, and it led to dolphins being given LSD, handies, and a human fell in love with a dolphin after failing to get the dolphin to speak English. But before any of that can happen, we have to say something real quick. Quick parental advisory warning. Any and all topics discussed in the video are informative and should not be done by kids or anybody else. Multiple topics discussed here are illegal in not only state but also federal levels. Please be advised, we are going to discuss very sensitive topics. So, let's start with the predatory statement. How are they? Well, we can start with them ending younglings to then bully the moms with freshly no kids to get her ready to mate again. Or we could talk about them torturing live fish, pufferfish to get high, or snakes to use them as, we'll put it as adult toys. Or we can discuss how the males gang up to basically kidnap a female, hold her hostage for weeks at a time. So that's just a few examples right there. What else could there possibly be? Well, they decide to attack the ocean's puppy, aka sharks, which, yes, I'm defending them, because only 63 to 80 actually get attacked, and only half are unprovoked. Now that's high, don't get me wrong. However, you also gotta realize 150 people get squad wiped by coconuts every single year. Sharks get bullied by Japanese for their fins, orcas just to end them for fun, and dolphins bully the pups of sharks. On top of this, you're not safe either. They've also been known to attack humans for fun, and then there's this. However, how bad exactly could that right there run? Well, for how bad everything with that clip is, we'll have to return to the 60s to a NASA-funded research project led by Dr. John C. Lilly, a neuroscientist interested in dolphin communication and intelligence. He believed dolphins were smart enough that humans might one day have a two-way conversation with them. To explore this, he ran a very unconventional dolphin lab in the Virgin Islands, which I should also state is where Epstein's Island was. Now, this is the 60s, let's be honest real quick. America experimented with basically every drug known to mankind. So, what do we choose for the dolphin experiment? Well, we decided to give the LSD to the devil swimmers from hell, to try and get their neurons firing, to have them talk to us. I didn't stutter there at all. So what is the exact play-by-play here? Let's go over it. So first, we have the major neurologist, John C. Lilly, believing dolphins were intelligent enough that humans might one day teach them to understand English. NASA and other funders gave him money, hoping that understanding dolphin communication could even help with the ideas about contact with aliens. In 1963, Lilly set up the Dolphin House Laboratory on St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. Then enters the young researcher Margaret Howie Lovett. She suggested a radical approach. Instead of short training sessions, lived with the dolphins around the clock, like raising a child in a bilingual household. The goal was to accelerate learning by constant immersion. Well, we need a dolphin for the dolphin experiment, so enters a young male named Peter. When he entered, a special lab/house was built, partially flooded, where Margaret lived with Peter for weeks at a time. She slept, ate, and worked in the facility while interacting with Peter daily. Margaret tried to teach Peter English words, focusing on sounds dolphins could physically attempt, like the M in man, or 1, 2, 3. Peter could mimic some tonal qualities, but never managed clear speech. So that does seem like great news. There's progress, right? Well, here's the problem. Peter, being a young male dolphin, often became aroused. This distracted him during lessons, and moving him back and forth to the female dolphin's tank for relief disrupted the scheduling. Margaret later admitted she manually relieved Peter so that the sessions could continue. She described it as a pragmatic, non romantic solution to keep the experiment on track. Now, that's Margaret and Peter. What about Lily? He was administering LSD to the dolphins, and the dolphins showed less progress than the handy dolphin. So, how exactly did this experiment end? Well, the funding dried up, NASA pulled out, in part due to the doubts about Lily's increasing unconventional methods. The dolphin house was shut down. Peter was moved to a different, less stimulating tank in Miami, where he eventually died, likely from stress and depression. His death is often described as him refusing to breathe, so the handy dolphin said, "No more, I need Margaret," and drowned himself. Speaking of Margaret, she defended her work in interviews and books, saying it was important research. So, my opinion of the devil swimmers who do ditty parties to each other, other animals, and humans, and become Chris Brown to each other, decide to be like LaShawn Johnson with attacking the dogs of the ocean. Also, this here is a porpoise, and their purpose is not to be murdered by dolphins for no reason. I wish I was lying. Unfortunately, this thing does end up getting murked more times than not by the devil swimmers in the ocean. Which they're not even all in the ocean. They're actually also in rivers. So no matter where you go, this thing will always be following you. Plus, there's this photo right here that quite literally looks like it's staring into your soul. So yeah, if y'all didn't know about this, I do truly apologize. And if you made it here to the end, thank you for this. This is day 3 of 31 for Halloween Horror Marathon. I do want to say, be ready for tomorrow. It's going to be a fun one. I'll let him take us out.
Die, little bitch.